Okay.
Yeah, we always talk about the norm, and we are also like in the norm.
All right.
So let's speak about the exception. The people who are considered special in society.
Yes. Okay. To know that, you have to go back to the basic.
Hmm.
You know what's the basic?
What is the basic?
How God, the Creator, sort of experiments with a new combination of the genetic material. With probably the reason being to create something better. You know, genetics, every new creation is a new combination of genetics. Correct?
Right.
Because everyone has got its own genetic imprint. Nobody is the same. So every time we create, as a progress, definitely God was trying to create something. He will explain, see, you combine like this, will be better or not.
So would you say the people who are special are in a way better?
They are subjects of God's experiment.
That's wild to say.
Yeah.
God's experiment?
Yeah. See, trying to make. So in that group, you will have the weak, you will have the normal, and you have the special exceptional.
When you say weak, what's the difference between the exception and weak?
Weak one, the genes are not very good. This one, they are strong in many ways. They can do things which others cannot do.
Can you just list down this exception? Like, would you say people who are autistic?
Yeah.
And like special people considered special, and like what, like Down syndrome, mentally disabled,
special, ADHD, dyslexia. You know?
Right.
They are, for me, they just God's experiment to see how.
So when you say strong, like
they have
define.
Something stronger than the normal in certain aspects.
But the society has considered them, I would say, weak.
Society is using the normal standard. That is why, and using the normal standard and comparing.
But in this special list, there is also physically weak.
Yes, there's
Right.
the weak one, there's also the exceptional one, strong one.
No, I'm looking at the exception here, sir. And the list in this exception, they are also, some of them are also physically weak, right? Not only mentally and physically strong, but they're also physically weak, right?
So, in God's experiment, that is considered as not a progressive one, the weak one. Whereas the other one, they acquire certain intellectual powers which are better and higher than the normal fellows.
Right.
Yes.
So
I told you the story of the boy who came.
No, what story of the boy?
This boy, he was about 6-7 years old, the mother, and he is like ADHD and super hyperactive.
ADHD is attention deficit disorder?
Yeah, or the disorder.
Attention deficit hyper disorder,
Yeah.
or something like that, right?
Hyperactivity.
Right.
So, one day the mother brought, because I was treating him. So I locked the door. The key was with me here. I kept the key. Here I think it is. So the mother came. The boy wanted to go because he cannot sit in one place.
Right.
He wanted to go to the door and open the door. He went to the door was locked. And he came back. Took the bunch of key. I was observing him in detail, what he's going to do. He took the key. There was about 7, 8, 9 keys there. He took the right key and opened.
How?
You tell me. Autistic? Hyperactive?
So would you say he was observing which key it was?
No, I don't know how can he
Really? Wow, that's like a freak of nature.
I was shocked. So I told the mother, see. Mother also got shocked. I was observing, how you will choose the key. You just choose the right one. Go. Now you explain to me what is that.
Yeah, what is that? Would you say like it's like intelligence?
Yes, some intelligence above the normal. The normal will answer which key. This look and see. That's the day I really learned a big lesson. Wow. So I told the mother, now you know how clever you are.
So, what do we say about this?
There are certain aspects in their brain power which is above the normal.
There is this story of this guy who was born without a hemisphere. We have left brain, right brain, there's a hemisphere, right?
Yes.
And this fella can memorize everything that he has
How do you explain?
studied from day one, and he holds the record
How do you explain that?
for that in the world today.
Yeah.
But he's like little bit like weird, like he doesn't like speak properly and everything. But if you ask him like what day, when, everything, he will just straight away like tell you.
See? That's why
Yeah, so what is that in comparison to the normal human being, Cha?
something extra power he has. See, the genetics has combined in such a way to bring in some extra power. But for me, this is the experiment of God. It's almost like throwing a dice and see what's the combination. So in evolution, this game is also going on.
So but they're not like I mean, with that comes also some other things that will disrupt their growth, right?
See, hyper.
Yeah, what is the negative of that?
So God put extra strength, but the side effect was hyper. You understand?
So can a human being be 100% like you're given an intelligence in a way like you're ADHD but then you're not hyper? Like is there a human being like that?
Possible. We don't know. We have to wait and see.
Oh, that's kind of weird to me.
No, Einstein. He couldn't go into school and learn properly.
Right.
How did he become the greatest scientist?
Right. Right.
You know the story of Einstein, isn't it? The teacher scolded him that thought, why you send this fellow, not interested in reading. You're going sitting outside looking at the sky.
Right. And like people like Newton, apparently like his mom was like mentally put in an asylum or something like that, and then he grew up with his grandmother, and then like he also had some psychosis.
Yes. But then, Newton's law.
But where do we draw the line in like you are normal and you are special?
Varies. Some are very extreme, some are bad. So there is no such thing like line like that.
But what about like Down syndrome child? Kids who have Down syndrome.
Chromosomal damage lah.
What damage?
Chromosome.
Oh, chromosome.
Extra
damage.
chromosome.
Oh. So what is their specialty, or like what is they good at then? What is their ability? Like what is their special ability? You can say ADHD can be like intelligence or things like that. Down syndrome? What about these kids?
They may have something which others don't have. I've seen in Down syndrome patients.
For example, like what? Like how are they like better? How are they special?
That fellow, something like Down syndrome. How did he get the keys?
Down syndrome people can't even speak very well,
Yeah.
right? Down syndrome are like slurring speech.
Some are bad. Some are really bad. But some okay. Some they can do something which others cannot do. You have to see the whole spectrum. Don't just focus on.
Yeah, maybe we just judging them wrongly and not. I think
we're labeling them. You must understand how come this happens. How come this genetic imprint like this happens? What is the purpose? I think from that angle, what actually God was trying to do. He's experimenting.
Experimenting?
Sort of.
God is experimenting.
Makes sense, see what's coming.
In a way, it's like inbreeding also, right?
Don't know, inbreeding, it's like throwing a dice. Shh, let's see what I get. Shh, let's see what I get. Some good, some. But the normal one goes. It's the exceptional ones.
What about like prophets? Do you think they have some sort of like they are God's experiment that kind of...
Don't rename that one. God said you are a prophet.
So you think they are like part of the norm, but then they are just
extra
enlightened.
God gave him extra knowledge. Hey.
What if like an autistic child is enlightened and we just don't know? The fellow who can memorize since day one, like what if he's enlightened?
You cannot say like, see, prophet, normal human being, extra God's power. This fellow mentally got defects. You don't know. So what are the better effects or the stronger ones?
That's kind of
So the whole spectrum, from very bad. And in them you can see some exceptions.
I mean, they do things out of the norm of society. Even their behavior.
Yes. Because they behave differently.
And but in a way it can damage society. Some of their behaviors, what if they go and kill someone accidentally or something like that?
Can happen.
Yeah.
But they cannot be killing everyone. By the time they kill somebody, they already caught them.
Yeah, then that's why we have so many mental asylums.
Yeah. So that one is okay.
You go to Tanjung Rambutan and see all these people.
What I'm thinking is that, what's God's purpose? Are they the faulty ones? You know? And then there are some very exceptional, but the behavior is not.